All right, welcome back to hour number 3 on a Buffalo Victory Monday. Chris Brown, Matty Glab, and my broadcast partner on the Bills Radio Network, Eric Wood, joining us in studio. Special in-studio appearance by Eric Wood, whose appearances are presented by Campbell's Chunky Soup. Big, craveable favorites collide in Chunky Soup's new Mac line, featuring flavors like Buffalo-style Chicken Mac, Chili Dog Mac, man, I'm struggling, and Beefy Mac. Buffalo-style Chicken Mac, Chili Dog Mac, and Beefy Mac. I had to say it again. Stock up for game day now at your local Wegmans. Chunky soup that eats like a meal. And I got to say, we had this one here. What is this one? This is the Buffalo-style Chicken Mac, which, you know, you want that Buffalo heat. That's the one you go to. So if you like stuff with a little more kick to it, and I will do this a lot, like I will throw Frank's in my soup sometimes if I want to kick it up a notch. You don't have to do that with this one because it's already in there. It's pretty dang good. I don't know if you've tried that one. Have you tried some of these yet? The Buffalo-style Chicken Mac is good.
No, I get to hear about them every week, but I haven't got any product sent to me yet. So
okay. We'll take a couple of these cans home with you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. The family will love it.
Yeah, I think the kids will like it, too.
I mean, we spent a lot of time together. I didn't think I'd make you that nervous in studio that you struggle with the reads.
I think I'm just tired from yesterday, to be completely honest with you.
It was a long game.
Yeah, and then I did post-game with Maddie because Steve's under the weather, and still is, so we hope Steve's feeling better. But why don't you start by kind of telling me, well, Josh Allen was the showstopper. We know this. Do you feel it looked just as dominant as his 6-touchdown performance that we watched in L.A. last year? I mean, granted, it was in a loss, so it kind of has a different feel to it. But, like, I remember hearing Sean McVay after that game last year saying, that man is an alien, and we don't have an answer for him.
Right. I would say probably not. You know, you have the sneak touchdown, you have the 2 off-tackle runs. Maybe not as dramatic as some of the plays in L.A. He was going toe-to-toe with Stafford. Yesterday, he's going toe-to-toe with Mayfield, or essentially the run game for the Buccaneers. So it didn't feel quite the same, but equally impressive. What's it happened? 3 times in NFL history, and twice it's been done by Josh Allen. I mean,
the other time was Otto Graham in 1954.
I saw that earlier.
That's right. Okay.
I saw that earlier. I thought I was going to bring that in and maybe have something for you guys. But knowing you, Chris, I knew that you would know that one too. But no, it was a very impressive performance by Josh. You know, 2 early mistakes with the turnovers. The one was on 4th and 2, and, you know, it is what it is.
He said he set the protection the wrong way on that shovel pass that went for an INT, and that's why Dennis came clean. That's what he said after the game.
No, and that makes sense. And Josh dictates the protection. So a lot of people want to get on the offensive line when they have those free runners, and that was the case a lot of times when I was here. We, as an offensive line, would identify what we thought was coming, and I might point in a certain direction to alert the quarterback, like, this is which way we're going. If you get 2 over here, you're hot. Josh wants to dictate all of that himself, and most quarterbacks do. You know, my relationship with Tyrell, he had a lot of trust in me. It took some off his plate, allowed him to focus more on the route tree and everything else going on. So we had that relationship, but I would have to let him know, hey, 2 over here, or whatever that may be. Josh handles all that himself. So when you see free runners, I would say about 95% of the time, that's on Josh. Well, he knows that built into the protections, and then he's got to have an answer off of it.
Yeah, no, you can get it out before the guy gets there.
And you see Josh defeat free runners all the time, but a lot of times those are off the edges, not a linebacker
straight up the middle,
barreling straight up the middle of the pocket where you don't have anywhere to escape, and the guys on the outside know that they have contained as well. So you can't escape the pocket, especially when you're in your own end zone.
Yeah.
And so perfect storm there, and then Josh obviously makes the critical error on the shovel. And then you have the 4th and 2 interception. But then for them to stick with the pass game, which they did, on a day when your run game isn't what it has been for a majority of the season, it was good to see. And this passing game has taken a lot of criticism, and they made some big-time plays yesterday.
Yeah.
Josh made some big-time throws. Guys made some great catches. I mean, that first touchdown to Shavers, I mean, with the wind moving the ball as much as it was yesterday, that's a great catch. I know he was open, you know, but that's a long throw.
I think he's still coming from the far hash when he lets it go, too.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's like a 65-yard throw.
I know. And he does
in the air.
And he does it on the run. and so, to me, very, very impressive performance by Josh. Shows that the Bills still do have that fastball if they need it with the passing game. You have Shavers making plays. Gabe Davis made some catches in his action yesterday. 9 different guys catch a football including Latu, who gets his first
Yeah,
game action
Latu.
for the Bills. And so to me, impressive performance by the offense. Obviously, a lot to be desired on the defense side of the ball, especially with the rush defense again.
317 passing yards out of Buffalo's offense, second most this season. Within the passing game, what did you love most about Joe Brady's play call?
You know, I thought they were more aggressive getting the ball downfield. I thought at times Josh did a great job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly, decisive on his first reads. We haven't seen that a ton from him this year. And throughout his career, he's not a heavy percentage. You know, when you look at league rankings, who throws the ball to their first read the most, Josh is rarely at the top of that because he can do so much off script that it kind of skews the percentages. But I thought at times yesterday did a great job of taking what the defense gave him. There were some game plan specific calls, like the 2 screens to Ty Johnson yesterday. Both were productive. One goes for a long touchdown. So you have the mix of the screens and the easy button throws for Josh, and then you have the creativity of Josh as well, making some plays down the field and really opening up the pass game, which we haven't seen for a majority of the season. Now,
Not like that.
And there's some games you don't need it,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But it's nice to see that you still have your fastball.
So Manny and I were talking about this earlier on the show because fans have been chiming in on it also. Like, we've been talking on this show a lot, Steve and I, about getting the running backs involved in the passing game, and we finally saw that maybe to a degree that we were all kind of hoping to see. It's not just, you know, Ty Johnson with 2 catches for 17 yards. It was big, game-changing plays. And you look at the stat line at the end of the game, James Cook and Ty Johnson, 5 catches, 127, 2 touchdowns. That's like an ex-receiver stat line.
Right.
So if you don't have one on your team, but you can manufacture the production in other ways, this week to the backs, like, you can live like that and win the majority of your games if you can pull that production from some other area of your passing game. Can you not? Like,
I agree. And would our passing game at times be easier if we had a dominant receiver out there? Of course.
Yeah.
There's only so much money to spend on a roster, and we've put it in other areas, and that's okay. But like you said, the running backs have to step up at times, especially in a game where you have Kincaid out.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Palmer comes back and has a productive game as well. And so I think this crew, and we saw it yesterday, this crew can be a productive offense in a game where they're taking away the run. This passing game can still get it done with the guys they have. And, you know, Josh has talked about trust so much throughout this year. I got to trust my footwork, I got to trust my arm, and I got to trust the guys out there. And yesterday it seemed like he trusted the guys out on the field to be in the right spots. That 4th down throw to Gabe Davis, I mean, that was back foot hit off a shotgun snap, and he let it go. I know Gabe Davis. I've played with him a long time. I know he's going to get to the inside leverage on that corner. Now, his tight coverage is a great catch by Gabe. He let that ball go immediately. That's not a read. He hit that, and we're getting it for those watching. You get to see it now on the TV.
It's a laser.
He throws a laser to Gabe, and they pick up the 4th down right at midfield. And so, to me, it seemed like Josh had a lot of confidence in the guys. They had some good play action looks. They had the one play action rollout. Cook has a long gain. They had the play action where James Cook leaks out on the wheel route. I thought Joe Brady did a great job designing the pass game yesterday.
Yeah.
And he took a lot of heat and has been taking a lot of heat for the pass game this year. Well, yesterday they made a statement.
Speaking of Gabe Davis, he has 3 catches for 40 yards. Tyrell Shavers, the leading receiver, 4 catches for 90 and a touchdown. Why should we see more of these 2 in the lineup going forward?
You know, Gabe Davis is strong at the catch point. And, you know, Gabe Davis made a lot of plays in this league. He got paid a lot of money to leave Buffalo and go to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And I know he got injured last year. And, you know, he has kind of the high variance games that drove Bills fans nuts. What was he, a 4th-round receiver?
Yeah, 4th-round pick.
And he had a productive career in Buffalo, hits free agency, gets paid well, and we get him back. And
nothing.
I think I'm more excited than most about it just because –
You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting. Josh trusts him. He can make plays. He's done it in big moments. To me, those guys are extremely valuable. And in a season where you're kind of strapped on the cap, you can't do anything at the deadline, let's see what we got in this guy. And early on, he makes an impact. And that's his first game action back off a serious injury last year. I can only imagine that he'll continue to improve as the season goes on as well.
And I'm kind of curious if Shavers finds his way into getting more targets too, because he gets more yesterday and he rewards you for using him more. and we know how McDermott operates. Like, Josh even said it in the post-game press conference, the reward of doing more is getting more opportunity to do more.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see where what we saw yesterday, how that translates into roles and opportunities in the passing game for the different receivers in that room over these next couple of weeks, because Coleman's just trying to get back in the lineup and on the field after last week's mishap.
Shakir seems obviously dinged
up.
up.
A little not right.
Yeah,
he's
the
not
ankle
100%.
ankle and the ribs. I mean, every time he came off the field, he looked like he was in a ton of pain.
And Kincaid on a short week, we don't know if he even gets back for this game Thursday night in Houston. So I see Shavers getting more opportunity again this week based on the Kincaid status. Shakir maybe not quite 100%. And we don't even know if Coleman's going to be up again this week. Maybe he is, because you don't have Kincaid again. He was supposed to be up this week. And that's the other thing, too, Eric.
But who do you put down if you bring Keon back?
Yeah, I mean, Moore was the odd guy out this week on the scratch because they had Hardman up. Does that change, or do they want to give him another go on returns? So I think ideally they would like to, because if Shakir's not 100%, they don't want to have to put him back there on punt return.
Right.
I'm just very curious how all those decisions get made this week. Let's get to the defense, though, because fans are calling and they're concerned about it. The run defense, it gets better in the second half. They go from giving up 136 in the first half. They kind of shore up the edges because all those yards were coming out on the edges there. They couldn't set the edge for whatever reason. They do a better job in the second half, only 66 yards rushing allowed in the second half. But my question to you is, realistically, what can fans realistically expect in terms of improvement over these last 6 or 7 games against the run from this defense, knowing they are getting healthier and maybe they get Shaq back this week?
Yeah, I think Shaq Thompson can make a difference. And, I mean, yesterday was, as I was thinking, the All-22 is not out yet. I was trying to look at it this morning before coming in to give some finite answers. Hey, this is what I saw in the All-22. Just watching the game in person yesterday, seeing the highlights and everything, a lot of it's coming off the edges. Some of those runs started inside, so you're playing your gap inside. They use speed to get it out to the edge, whether that's a corner and defensive end or whoever's supposed to say. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the All-22 yet. To me, one guy can make a play on defense and blow the play up, and that was not happening consistently yesterday. There wasn't penetration, and whether that's the defensive line, whether that's backers shooting the gaps, it just looked to me, it wasn't hey, we missed a couple tackles and they broke long runs. They were hitting space out there. And so, to me, we've seen issues with this rush defense the entire season. You can call it injuries, whatever it may be. It's an issue right now. This is a Tampa Bay team that relies heavily on their pass game.
They're 25th in rushing.
They came in yesterday and said, we're going to run the ball down their throat, and maybe the wind played a factor in that as well. But it's a concern. I mean, it's a concern for me too. And you got young defense tackles. You got a Deion Walker, splash plays, and then 2 gaps removed on a run play. And that happens with young guys, and he's gotten better throughout the season. T.J. Sanders gets back in the mix, and they got him playing defensive end, a defensive tackle. It's a tough position. I'm not making excuses for these guys, but we can expect to see, especially some of these young guys, get better throughout the remainder of the season. You get a Shaq Thompson back, that helps. But to me, guys got to make plays. And we didn't, this is a penetrating style defense. We didn't see enough penetration yesterday.
Seemed like getting off blocks was an issue again, which has been a persistent problem. Not all the time, but what I mean by a persistent problem is every week you see instances where there's a big run play because guys just can't disengage and get to the ball carrier.
Yeah, you do. And that's been an issue throughout the season. And this is a defensive line that's been severely banged up. They're not making enough plays at the line of scrimmage. And then at times when you get your defensive tackles washed, we play with undersized linebackers. It is what it is. Those guys are great in the pass game. They can run through, they can penetrate, and we saw that at times yesterday, but they can get swallowed up by offensive linemen. These aren't 250-pound linebackers that can thud an offensive lineman and disengage. And so, it's a multitude of things that's really hurting this Bills defense, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot about that from Sean and Bobby Babbitt this afternoon when they do the press conferences.
I'm just kind of hoping they can get to 20th in run defense by the end of the year and look serviceable.
Yeah,
Like,
and we've seen flashes of it. We saw it against Carolina. Carolina came in, with Rico Dowdle going for over 200 yards 2 out of 3 games.
Yeah.
And they go to Carolina and shut that run down coming off the bye. That's an effort that we need to see more consistent.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's an effort problem. I'm saying that's an effort from the defense, a collective effort that they went in there saying, you got a backup quarterback, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to commit to it. Now, the game script also helped as well. We get the lead, you make them one-dimensional, and this is a Bills defense, this is a Bills team right now, based upon injuries and everything else, that's built to play with the lead.
Play from ahead, right?
Play from ahead. And you know what? Maybe that's your mindset. Maybe it's we're aggressive early, we're going to jump on teams, and we're going to tee off on quarterbacks. I don't do a ton of my own independent research, but I did look back at the last time that a team, we don't have the, maybe when the final stats come out from this week, we might be worse, but team that gave up the most rushing yards last time they won the Super Bowl, it was the Colts team with Peyton Manning. Well, they had 2 Hall of Fame pass rushers on the outside, and they were built to play from ahead. They dropped 2 out of their last 3 games heading into the postseason because they gave up a bunch of rushing yards when weather got cold and it dictated it, and they go on to win the Super Bowl. But they played from ahead throughout their Super Bowl run. And look, you can win a lot of games doing that, but right now that's how we're built.
Buffalo's defense does have 2 timely takeaways. That Cole Bishop interception came in the 3rd quarter when the Bills were down. They score off of that interception, and then the Daquan Jones sack fumble kind of puts it away, and it's Buffalo's game from there on. How does grabbing takeaways mask the inefficiencies in the run game?
Yeah, we saw it last year, where this defense was towards the top of the league for majority of the season, enforcing takeaways where they're punching at the football, and we saw that late with the Daquan Jones. Cole Bishop is getting better and better. I mean, he's playing at a different speed now. And Sean McDermott talked about after the game that it's a lot of the preparation. He's one of the last people in the building every single day, one of the first people in, and you could see it. He's now playing at his athleticism. He comes out of college as one of the RAS scores, the relative athletic score, one of the top defensive backs in the country for that. And we're seeing it now because he's able to play at such fast pace with his anticipation, which is based upon his preparation.
Yeah, it's been good. Before we let you go, let's flip forward to Houston here. Short week. And in case you didn't know, Houston defense, number
ready.
1 in points allowed, number 1 in total defense, number 2 in yards per play allowed, number 3 in run defense, number 4 in yards per carry allowed, number 3 in pass defense, number 1 in yards per pass play allowed, number 2 in first downs allowed per game, and number 3 in third down defense. All the fans that liked watching all the moon balls fly through the air this past week, in the air in the stadium, and throwing for 300 yards, we're not going to see a lot of that. He's got to get the ball out fast this week, right?
Got to get the ball out fast. You got to stay balanced with your attack. Be unpredictable. It might be heavier sets on first down, where that's where you can get your longer developing plays down the field, where they're anticipating run. It's a heavy play action, and that's where you take your
And
shots.
your max protect,
And some of those shots could come off of some off-script plays where Josh scrambles and whatnot, but you don't want to live in a 5-step drop-back game against a defense like Houston. You got to be able to establish the run. I understand they're a good rush defense, but this is also an excellent offensive line. It's an excellent blocking tight end group. You got Reggie Gilliam. You can run the football against this group, so establish the run, stay balanced, but, this is a Houston defense that gave us fits last year down in Houston as well. And so you go back, look at the way that they game planned for you last year. I'm sure the coaches were prepping for this game prior to today. Whether that was this offseason, understanding, hey, let's get some early game planning in.
Yeah, get your advanced scouts on the game plan.
Yeah, it could have been at some point during training camp. You're doing some advanced scouting for this game, so it doesn't start today. But I'd imagine the Bills try to come out with an extremely balanced attack to not let those guys just simply tee off on us. And then what we've talked about a lot this year, the Bills have success when they have success on early downs.
Yeah.
You just can't live in 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 8s.
And they didn't yesterday too much.
You're right. And we saw more passing on first down, especially, kind of that middle portion of the game where we saw that the run game wasn't going to be as effective because they were flying downhill. Okay, let's get to some more play action on first down. Let's get to some quicker throws on first down to stay in a second and manageable, third and manageable, and that's how you go out and put up 42 points.
Yeah.
As you look ahead in the season, we're into the middle of November. Football is meaning more and more as we go on in the season. The Bills are second in the AFC East. Patriots are first right now. How can the Bills control their destiny?
Well, you got to go get a win in New England, but you can't look forward to that. They need to take care of business this week and grab another AFC win.
Yeah.
And, you got to hope that New England, who's won 8 in a row, falters at some point.
Looks like they might get to play Cincinnati this week without Chase, who's probably going to get suspended for spitting on Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, and
They're getting all the luck right now.
they're getting all the luck, and they've had some luck with missed PATs and field goals at the end of the games and whatnot. But when you look at it, we need New England. Are they going to run the table? I wouldn't assume so, even if you include the Bills game and assume we win that one. I would assume they stumble at some point. And this is the time of the year where you have enough film on this Josh McDaniels offense with Drake May to where defenses can kind of start to hone in better on what their game plan is going to be each week. But, when you look at the Bills-Patriots game, Drake May just flat out made some plays at the end of that game to win the game. That was a total tip-the-cap game. Well done. You earned it. We put pressure on you. We got pressure on the quarterback. We had tight coverage at times where guys simply made plays to beat us. Can they do that for the remainder of the year?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Because I thought Tampa did pretty well against them defensively. Really, Tampa only got beat by the big plays. Like everything else, they had it pretty buttoned up. They even got hits on Drake May, too, and got him on the ground a couple of times. It's just they had the long pass play down the sideline that goes for a touchdown, and then Henderson with a couple of long runs, and that was the game. And then they can't win.
Yeah, they had the ball, twice in the fourth quarter, down 4, and unable to come up on that one. And then New England gets the ball back with, a minute 42 left, and Henderson rips off the long run to seal it. But New England's, Henderson looks like a ball player as well.
And their defense, I still don't think gets enough credit. That's a good front.
It is. They lost Milton Williams.
Yeah.
He'll be he just went on to IR, so he'll be at least.
He'll miss the Bills game.
Yeah, he'll miss 3 more games. At least, because he missed this week, correct?
Well, no, because they played Thursday night, and then they put him on IR. So he's got to go full 4 games.
So he's got 4 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got 4 games to miss. He's a factor on the inside of their defense.
Yeah.
He gave us some fits here in Orchard Park. So we've been, we've been bitten by the injury bug. You don't wish injury upon it. We'll see how this all plays out. I'm assuming they're not going to run the table even outside of a hopeful Bills loss in mid-December.
Yeah, and they got Baltimore on the road after us in Week 16, and Baltimore presumably is going to need that game to stay in the AFC playoff race. That's Eric Wood. Thanks for stopping in studio, Eric. We appreciate it as always. He's also the host of the Centered on Buffalo podcast, and his appearance here every week is presented by Campbell's Chunky Soup. Chunky, the soup that eats like a meal.